A kid from the Philippines just stepped onto a pro hard court in Austria, completely stunning a former global number 2. Pause and absorb that reality. Welcome back. If you track anything in the women's circuit lately, you already sense the shockwaves. A tectonic shift is happening, a rare generational talent who refuses to knock politely. She kicks the door down. Her name is Alexandra Eala. Right now, we dive into the most explosive victory of her rising, journey-crushing Shuai Zhang at the Upper Austria Ladies Linz Open, Xai. Triumph so absolute, so loaded with fire that the tremors were felt. All the way across the globe in China, let us unpack this. Linz is no warm-up gig. This is a brutal WTA indoor, hardcourt battleground. A lightning-fast surface that destroys the timid and favors the bold. The exact venue where veteran grit rules, where ice-cold nerves filter out the weak. It absolutely is not about a smooth spot for lucky breaks. You bleed for every point. And blocking Eala from glory was Shuai Zhang. Let that name sink in heavily. A previous global number 2. A warrior who has conquered the most prestigious arenas tennis possesses. Wimbledon, the US Open, the Australian Open, Roland Garros. She has dismantled major title holders. She spent seasons at the absolute pinnacle of the sport. You never look at her on a bracket and expect an easy pass. She's a true litmus test that exposes your true colors. And Alexandra Eala showed pure fire. Born May 23, 2005 in Manila, she has shattered limits before anyone could even spell her name. She never eased into the limelight. She blew the roof off. Music in 2022, she etched her nation into history by snagging a major crown, dominating the US Open girls singles and sparking massive nationwide hysteria that the Philippines had never seen in tennis before. Yet here is what divides the elite from the pack. They refuse to just celebrate and relax. They evolve. Eala kept grinding. Her movement is practically impossible for pundits to justify for a teen. Seamless, hyper-aware, purely natural. She decodes the court's angles long before the racket makes contact. Her baseline attack strikes with lethal purpose from both wings. A flat, blazing forehand, and totally merciless once she finds her groove. Meanwhile, her two-handed backhand has secretly morphed into her most lethal artillery, especially when her back is against the wall. However, what makes Eala a certified menace truly terrifying is not technical, it is psychological. Most kids choke. They let the magnitude of the match the giant. Staring them down, the noise crush them until they go into defensive hiding. Eala flips that script completely. She levels up. She unleashes heavier swings when the stakes rise. She fights without that invisible barrier of panic that ruins rookies. You cannot teach that killer instinct. It is genetic. And facing Zhang in Linz, all that DNA was fully unleashed. Zhang stepped up with every weapon expected of a battle-tested warrior. Her serve kills while that wicked backhand slice stands as a masterclass in deception. She wields it to shatter your rhythm, to dictate the speed, dragging you deep into a mental war she always controls. For more than 10 years, she has treated the court like a grandmaster's chessboard, knowing exactly how to force rookies into rushing, panicking, and inevitably collapsing. But Eala refused to play that game. She held her ground. She brought the fire. She took every trick shot thrown at her, without blinking, relentlessly turning the screws in ways that totally dismantled the veteran's entire arsenal. This was no fluke. It was a masterfully delivered strike, the exact type of raw dominance that leaves elite scouts exchanging silent, knowing looks. When the final point landed, the fallout in Beijing was swift, loud, and incredibly telling. Zhang isn't merely a tennis player overseas, she's an absolute icon. She scaled peaks in this sport that her nation had barely ever touched before. She wore that crown fiercely, so watching her crumble against a 19-year-old challenger from Southeast Asia, a region rarely feared for churning out heavy-hitting contenders, sent shockwaves everywhere. Overseas outlets exploded. Fan pages caught fire. You couldn't escape the noise, because that scoreboard was not merely a tally. It was a glaring warning siren. Alexandra Eala is no longer just bubbling potential, she's a massive threat to the entire tour. Step back for a second and analyze the true landscape of the women's circuit. Today, the legendary empire built by Serena Williams is officially history. The current crop of players is still scrambling for dominance. The whole league is completely up for grabs. And rushing straight into that void is a fierce squad of rookies, invading from across the globe. Yet Eala's rise hits completely differently, and not simply because she has skills. Talent is everywhere. This matters deeply because of her roots. The Philippines consistently breeds legendary fighters. From the boxing ring to the hardwood, that relentless grit and starvation for greatness runs in their blood. But dominating the pro tennis circuit, that is absolute uncharted. Ground totally unprecedented. Now every single kid in Manila watching Eala tear up a hard court in Austria witnesses a spark that could entirely rewrite the future of an entire nation's athletic DNA. She isn't simply advancing in brackets. She's totally redefining what her people see as achievable. That carries far more weight than tour points. There is a saying tossed around locker rooms about finally arriving, not physically showing up, but cementing yourself as an absolute juggernaut. A predator who cannot be dismissed as a rising star or a distant maybe, but a killer who demands total respect right this second, crushing Shuai. Zhang was exactly that defining breakthrough for Alexandra Eala. Her camp sensed it. Her die-hard supporters back home felt the electricity, and lurking deep within the brackets of every upcoming slam, from the French Open to Wimbledon, the US Open to the Australian Open, every single rival scouting the field will lock onto her name and feel a sudden icy chill, deep respect heavily mixed with genuine fear, because this is no accident. It never was. This is an undeniable takeover, a legacy being forged right before our eyes, strike by strike, victory by game over. Zhang, a legendary Chinese powerhouse and former global number 2, learned exactly that harsh truth in Linz. Believe me, more victims will follow. The Philippines has firmly arrived. The Women's Tennis Association better watch its back, because the Eala dynasty is no longer a distant threat. She has taken the throne. Got goosebumps? Hit that like button immediately. Lock in as a subscriber for more hardcore court analysis and sound off below. Tell me what the absolute ceiling is for Alexandra Eala. Leave your boldest takes. I plan to read absolutely every comment. The rise of Alexandra Eala is a powerful testament to the fact that your origins do not define your destination. Coming from a nation without a historic tennis pedigree, Alex didn't just compete. She shattered expectations by defeating a former world number 2 on the global stage. Her story is a clarion call to every dreamer. Greatness doesn't knock politely, it kicks the door down through sheer, unyielding grit. This journey teaches us that success is not an accident, it is a trajectory drawn in real time, point by point, through a ruthless grind and an unbreakable spirit. Alex proves that when you possess an ironclad psychology and the courage to face apex predators head-on, you become an unstoppable force, capable of shifting the entire landscape. Let Alex's fire be your inspiration. Do not wait for permission to be great. Embrace the savage physical dominance of your own potential and turn every obstacle into a stepping stone for your legacy. Your rise is not just a personal victory, it is a revolution that can ignite hope in the hearts of millions. Stand your ground, trust the process, and let your results silence the skeptics.